Hey guys, here's a DIY homeowner take on the Dewalt miter saw model DWS716XPS. Now this is a 12-inch non-sliding miter saw that you can get for, I just saw it for $377 from Lowe's, which is not a bad price at all. And this is a little more expensive than some budget options, but it has been overall great for me as a non-contractor type, but someone who wants to buy quality, kind of a buy once, cry once kind of mentality. So if that's you, let me go over a couple things that you might want to consider. So the first is the XPS in the model number stands for their cross-cut positioning system technology, and all that is, which is really cool, it has an LED up here above the blade, and what that does is when you bring your blade down, it casts a shadow on your workpiece that will show you exactly where the blade is going to cut. So it's better than a laser because you don't have to calibrate it or anything. It's just a shadow, and it kind of illuminates your work area too. So that's really awesome. If you're trying to decide whether or not to buy that option, I really like it. One of the other things that was important to me is that I have a 2-car garage for a workspace, and I don't have room for a sliding saw, like a compound sliding saw, because I need to be able, this thing's on a cart, and I need to be able to back it up against a wall and not have it stick out. So when I move it over sideways and I lock this thing down, it actually fits, it becomes pretty short front to back, all things considered, and lets me back it up against a wall. So if space is a consideration, that's another plus. It's got plenty of power, and the 12-inch blade gives you a lot of capability for cutting 2x8s and even 2x10s if you flip them over, and that's been great for every kind of normal house project that I've had to tackle. Some of the negative things, there aren't many, but one of them is there really aren't any outriggers for supporting your workpiece that come with the saw. So you're going to have to make sure that if you're going to be cutting really long boards, that you get yourself some roller stands or sawhorses or something of that sort. The other thing I'm not crazy about is this clamp isn't my favorite because it's pretty cheap. You can see kind of how much slop there is in it. And if you get a really wide board, it only hangs on so far. So this can only reach up and around only so far. So I'm not really a big fan of that, but that's not a huge negative. There's a lot of adjustment with this thing. It's a dual bevel, so it slides, it tips over to both sides. I haven't really done a whole lot of that, but I have used the angled cut capability quite a bit. That's been fantastic. One thing I will say is when you pull this thing out of the box, the blade was tipped over a little bit one side or the other, so I had to reset that kind of at 90 to make sure it was cutting true. So make sure you do that if you buy one of these. I already kind of talked about it, but the XPS lighting system, this is the switch right here, and it works fine, but you kind of always have to remember that when you go to do your cut, it's like, oh yeah, I gotta turn that on, you gotta reach over here to switch it, and then reach back. It would be great if it was integrated near the trigger, but it's not. I think it was designed as an add-on, and then some models come with it factory installed, which is what this is. So not a big deal, but that's mildly inconvenient. And I'm not using any dust collection. You can see this thing's all dusty. I don't use it constantly, so I don't mind vacuuming up the dust. And this little bag, you can pull it off and unzip it and dump it out every now and then if you need to. So that's pretty much it. It's been a really solid saw. One of the benefits, kind of hidden, of having a non-sliding version is that this whole mechanism for tilting is a lot more robust because you have one less joint to worry about to enable the linear motion. So it's pretty solid is in terms of how much it can walk back and forth. So I'm trying to slide it back and forth kind of in this direction and you can see that it's not moving a whole lot. And I value that robustness. So anyway, that's kind of my high-level thoughts. I think it's definitely worth it if you can get it for under $400 as a kind of hobbyist plus option. So I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching.